A quadrilateral is a polygon with 4 sides. There are 5 main types of quadrilaterals. All 5 of the 4-sided shapes we are going to look at are quadrilaterals, but they have some properties which separate them from one another. All of them are quadrilaterals, and when you hear the word quadrilateral, think of quad as meaning 4 and lateral as meaning sides. So it's simply a 4-sided figure. The first 3 basic quadrilaterals that we're going to look at are parallelograms. A parallelogram has 2 sets of parallel sides. So here I've drawn 3 parallelograms, which are also quadrilaterals because they're 4-sided figures. And with a parallelogram, we have 2 sets of parallel sides, and they're opposite one another. So this side here is parallel to its opposite side here, and this side here is parallel to its opposite side here. So 2 sets of parallel lines. They can be slanted in whichever direction, they can be horizontal, they can be vertical, but a parallelogram is a shape in which we have 2 sets of parallel sides. So the first shape that we're going to look at, the first quadrilateral, is a rectangle. And a rectangle is a parallelogram with 4 90-degree angles. Since a rectangle is a specific type of parallelogram with 4 90-degree angles, all rectangles are also parallelograms. So I've drawn 3 examples of rectangles here. You can see that all 4 of the angles are right angles, so I don't have any slanted lines in my rectangles. All 4 angles are right angles. Sometimes you'll see those right angles with the little squares marking them in the corners, and sometimes you won't. But this is a rectangle, this one too, and this one's a rectangle as well. So a rectangle is a parallelogram with 4 90-degree angles. Our next shape that we're going to look at is a rhombus. And a rhombus is a parallelogram with 4 sides of equal length. So in a rhombus, we don't need to have 90-degree angles, but we do need to have 2 sets of parallel sides and 4 sides of equal length. Now, since a rhombus is a specific type of parallelogram with 4 equal sides, all of our rhombus are also parallelograms. So here are a couple examples of rhombus where I have parallelograms. So I have these 2 sides parallel to each other and these 2 sides parallel to each other, these 2 and these 2, and all 4 sides in a rhombus are of equal length. Our third shape is a square, and a square is a rhombus because it has 4 sides of equal length, but it also has all 4 angles as right angles. All 4 of the angles in a square are 90-degree right angles. So our third quadrilateral under the parallelogram category is a square. Squares are also rectangles, and they're also rhombus, and they're also parallelograms. They fit the definitions of all of those things. Fourthly, over here, we have a trapezoid, and our 5th shape is a kite. Now, a trapezoid is a quadrilateral because it has 4 sides, but it is not a parallelogram because it does not have 2 sets of parallel sides. It just has 1 set of parallel sides. A trapezoid is a quadrilateral with 1 set of parallel sides. So in these 3 trapezoids that I have drawn here, you can see that there is 1 set of lines, 1 set of sides across from one another, which are parallel. This one is parallel to this one. However, this is not parallel to this. So there's just one set of parallel. Similarly, on this figure, I have this line, this line here is parallel to this line here. So that these two opposite sides are parallel, however, these two are not. So I only have one set of parallel sides. And then same here on this trapezoid, I've got these two sides here, one set of parallel sides, but this set of opposite sides is not parallel. So a trapezoid is a quadrilateral, a four-sided figure with one set of parallel sides. And then lastly, we have our kite. And the definition of a kite is that a kite has two sets of equal sides which are adjacent to one another. So a kite is a quadrilateral because it has four sides. It's a four-sided figure. It's not a parallelogram because none of its opposite sides are parallel to one another. But it does have two sets of equal sides. So this length here is equal to this length here, and it's adjacent. They're adjacent to each other. So these two equal lengths, this one and this one, touch each other. And then similarly, we have this length here is equal to this length here, and those two sides touch each other. They are adjacent. And then on this kite, we have this side here is equal in length to this side here, and they touch each other, they're adjacent, and this side here is equal in length to this side here. And so a kite, by definition, is a quadrilateral with two sets of equal sides adjacent to one another. Let's look at an example using quadrilaterals. So our question asks us, what kind of quadrilateral is pictured below? Now we can see right away that we don't, in this shape, have two sets of parallel sides. We have one set of parallel sides. I can see that these two opposite sides are parallel to one another. However, these two are not. And so, since we have just one set of parallel sides, we know that what we have here in this figure is a trapezoid. One important property of quadrilaterals is that the sum of all of the angles inside of a quadrilateral always add up to 360 degrees.